What's up, geeks? So it's time for another DIY video. In my last video, I wanted to know if you guys wanted to see Batman, Legend of Zelda, or Duck Hunt next. Batman had the most votes, and because I'm doing this so late, I've decided to do 2 Batman tutorials for you guys. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create this Perler Bead design, and it is Harley Quinn hugging the Joker, and it's more like their Batman animated series versions of them. So the reason I decided to go with these 2 is because I get asked so much about the Harley Quinn bust behind me. People want to know how you make it. So I'm going to go over Perler bead making again in this tutorial. The thing with Perler beads is once you know how to use them, you will be able to make any design you want, and you will not need my help to do this. So basically, Perler beads are a special type of bead. When you iron them, they fuse together and they create these designs. They're really simple to create. They're just a little time consuming depending on how big you make them, but they're really fun to make, and once you make them, in my opinion, you just don't want to stop. So if you want to know how to create your very own Perler bead design, keep on watching this tutorial and check out my other Perler bead tutorials where I show you how to create other type of geeky designs. Now let's begin the tutorial.
Okay, now rarely ever do I do original designs. Creating your own designs is really hard to do, especially when you're making a bigger design. So when I've got a character I like to create, I just Google image what I'm looking for and see if there's a design someone has already created, and I go based off that picture. The design I'm making today calls for 4 pegboards. Sometimes you get the amount of pegboards you'll need wrong, but it rarely ever happens where you need more than 4. When you buy the pegboards, they normally come in a 4-pack, so you're set to go. Now you start placing the Perler beads onto the pegboards. I like to start off each design by creating the outline first, so I know I've got the right amount of pegboards. Once I've got the outline, I work with one color, then move on to the next. If there's a big area that is a color, I try to outline where that color stops and then fill it in. It's much easier to do that this way. So you can see I'm using the black to outline it and then outline the main features. Then I start filling it in with the white Perler beads. But I use the Perler beads on the face to outline where the white stops, and then I start filling in the rest of the skin using the white. Then I move on to the gray. I do the Joker's hair. But like I said, I always use a certain color and then I move on to the next color. Now that I've got all my beads placed, I take my parchment paper and lay it on top of the design. You can use wax or parchment paper. I prefer to use the parchment paper that you buy at the craft store, and it is specifically made for Perler bead making, so that's why I prefer it. Now you take your iron. I put mine on the hottest setting, so I put on the cotton setting and the highest setting, and I melt basically one side. I don't care if one side looks like Perler beads anymore and it just looks like a melted mess, because I only display it on the good side, which is where it looks still like Perler beads, if that makes sense. I'm not the best at the ironing part, so if you want to know how you do this so that both sides look good, go ahead and check out like another video, because I'm not good at this. I just like to melt it, and I display it on one side. So then once I've got it all fused together, I go back and iron the top where the Perler beads look nice, just to make sure that everything is really fused together and none of the Perler beads come out of place. But I iron it so the iron is barely touching the Perler beads on the good side, just a little bit, so I can make sure everything's just perfectly fused together. Ironing bigger designs, sometimes some of the Perler beads will stick to the parchment paper and all the Perler beads will start moving, so you have to make sure that you hold that parchment paper down flat using your hands to just kind of really hold it flat in one area while you iron another area, or get somebody to help you so they'll hold it down and the paper doesn't start lifting off of the pegboard. Now you can hang the design just like that. I decided to use a paper, and I got a red cardstock paper. It's 12 by 12. You buy it at the craft store, and I decided to put my design there. So I applied a lot of glue stick to the back of the Perler bead, the part where the Perler beads are more like melted together, and then I just place that on top of the paper. Then I look around the design. If there's parts that are still lifted, I go back with my hot glue gun and I apply the glue directly below those areas that are lifted, so I can make sure everything is secure. You don't have to use a hot glue gun. You can use a different type of glue, but that works for me. To hang the picture on my wall, I use the Command brand picture hanging strips, and they hold up to 9 pounds. I think you can use one that holds a little bit less, like the 3-pound one, because it doesn't weigh that much. And I just use that. It's really simple to do. It's just a little bit time consuming when you're creating a bigger design. And like I said, if you want to know how to iron it properly, there are tutorials up. I don't do it improperly, but there's a way to do it so both sides look still like the perler beads. But I just really like to melt it all together because I think it holds better and it's easier to do.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll be notified every single time I upload. With that being said, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.